Hey everybody, and welcome to your virtual studio. Please join me today as we move through a 20-minute stretch and release class. We will move through some static stretching and also some dynamic juicy stretching. So whenever you're ready, let's go. You don't need any props, hands and knees. So we want to stack the hands underneath the shoulders, rest the knees underneath the hips, and just start to lift the spine towards the sky and move into our first cat stretch. Just hold it for a brief moment, pulling the belly in and up, pressing the floor away, and then allowing the belly to fall down towards the floor. Arching the spine, taking your gaze forward and then up, pulling the shoulders down and back. And then let's go again, moving through our cat stretch. Again, we're gonna hold it just for that brief moment. Drawing the belly in and up, rounding your spine, pressing the floor away. And then allowing the belly to fall to the floor, lift the tailbone, and pull the shoulders down, gaze forward, then up. And then let's begin to make this stretch a little bit quicker. Let's invite a little bit more tempo and move in between our cat and cow with a little bit more rhythm and a little bit more flow. So we're staying here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. And then we're going to press the hips back towards the heels. And as we come forward, we're going to find our way back to cow. And as we push back to our child's pose-like shape, we round the spine, move forward and find our cow pose. Back through cat to your child's pose, and spring forward again, getting that nice, beautiful pelvic rock. As we move into our flexion, our cat stretch, and our extension, our cow. So let's just do another 4 counts. And another 3. And 2. 1 more. And then let's go ahead and find our way back to child's pose. Walking the arms forward, gently lowering the chest an inch closer to your mat, and then taking the hands for a walk towards the right hand side. So stretching off to the right, then beginning to find this beautiful space and a stretch along the left side of the body. Press the finger pads down, take a deep breath in and direct it into that left side of the rib cage and over the waistband. Use your exhale and maybe just creep into it a little bit further, holding that breath. And releasing it out. Draw the hands back into the center and take them for a walk to the left side so that we can find that stretch, the same stretch, but now on the right hand side. So we're opening laterally on that right side of the body, feeling into that banana bend, deepening our breath, maybe moving a little bit deeper into the stretch, and then directing that breath to move towards the right side of our rib, to our waistband, and taking 1 more inhale and exhale to release it. Bring the hands back towards the center. We're going to go into puppy stretch now, so we're going to lift the tailbone to the sky, walk the arms forward, melting the chest down to the mat, pressing the armpits towards the floor, softening into the upper and the middle spine, finding a little flick of the tailbone lifting up. Keep the energy running through the arms, but maybe just soften the back of the shoulder blades a little bit further. Take another inhale. And on your exhale, push back towards your child's pose. And then find your way back to 4-point kneeling. We're going to take the knees a little bit wider than the hips and join the toes together. Now we're going to take just the right arm and open it towards the twist. Close the right arm under the shoulder and open the right arm back out. And we want to do 8 more just on this right side. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 more. Let's switch over, lifting the left. Open the left arm, bring it back down under the left shoulder, and open it up. Let's go for another 8, 7, exhale to twist, 6, 5, and 4, 3, and 2, and 1 more. And as you bring it back, bring the knees back to hip distance, walk the hands forward, and lower yourself all the way down onto your belly. Untuck your toes, wriggle out the pelvis, relax your thighs. Place the hands roughly shoulder height. Using the elbows, start to lift your chest into a nice small back bend. And perhaps maybe lifting the elbows to move into your swan. As you lower to the floor, prepare for another couple. Inhale at the bottom, exhale on the way up. Inhale. And exhale. Just working within your own limits. Make sure that you're not jamming or dumping into that lower back. Keep the length, find the space. And as we lower this time, we're going to take the hands nice and wide. Up on the tippy fingers, the elbows start to pull towards the ceiling. Now, like a wave, we're going to start to roll the spine up. Lift the chest and lower all the way back down. Think about moving your body like a wave. Inhale. Exhale. Let's do 4 more. And back down. 3 more. And 2. And 1 more. And as you lower the chest, just start to stretch the arms out into a T. Take your gaze left. Take your gaze right. Take your gaze left. Once more to the right. And then bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Press yourself towards child's pose, but curl your toes into the mat. And this time, push forward and lower the thighs to find your swan. And push back towards your child's pose, keeping your toes curled in. Now, you might like to stay here, or perhaps you might start to add another layer, lifting the hips like a wave, pushing forward through the plank, softening the thighs, finding swan. And then pushing back through the knees towards your child's pose. Press the hips to the sky. Like a wave, we roll the body, soften the thighs, and find our way to swan. Pushing back towards our child's pose, using the feet, pressing into the floor. And we've got another 2 sets after this one, in whatever variation you are in. Inhale. Exhale. And 1 more. Pushing through, taking it at your own pace. Press back towards child's pose. Keep your toes curled in, lift your hips. Push your chest into the thighs and start to walk out your feet. Hand on the feet, walking it out. Let's go 8 more, 7 more, 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2, and 1. Now let's walk our hands all the way back to our toes. 1 hand at a time. Feel into your forward fold. Give your head a little shake, left and right. And then we're going to open the legs a little bit wider than the hips. Rotate the toes slightly out so they're in external rotation. And then drop the hips down to find a squat. Push the chest up. Hands towards the floor, forward fold. Back into your deep squat. Whatever level or depth you have, just make sure that you're always checking in with your body. Forward fold, we're going to do 3 more. Towards your squat. To your forward fold. 2 more. Back into your squat. And back to your forward fold. Just 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. Feel into that forward fold. Take 1 hand over the other. Press the hands between the knees or the shins and begin to pulse your body up and down, reaching through the shins, reaching through the knees, and push. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2, and 1. Hands come down to the toes. Roll yourself all the way to standing. Take a little shoulder roll at the top. Heel toe your legs into their hip width. Take a big step forward with your right leg. Lower your left knee to the floor and keep your toes curled in so that you have some support. A bigger step with your right foot so that your heel is either under the knee or slightly forward. Hands come over the hips, and then we're going to press the pelvis in and pull the pelvis out. Press in, pull it back. Think about opening through the left hip flexors. Right over that hip crease and down the front of that left thigh. Let's move in and out for 8. For 7, keeping the stretch dynamic. For 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2, and 1. Now turn your knee and your foot towards the right so that the inner thigh is on this diagonal line, and then we're going to press on that diagonal line towards the knee and towards the second and third toes. Maybe you can sink a little bit deeper now, dropping the pelvis down to the floor and drawing it back for a release. Let's do 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Then line up your toes and knees with your hip and shoulder. Press forward and plant the hands down to frame your foot. Take a big breath in, and then start to walk your hands back as you stretch your right leg. Your toes can stay pointing down, or maybe they curl up. Then we're going to walk it forward, bend the knee. Walk it back and stretch the leg. Walk forward and bend the knee. Draw it back and straighten the leg. Now you might like to lift your left knee as you move forward, and then lower the left knee as you come back. So you can play around with those options and just feel which one is feeling good for you today. Let's go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now walk your hands forward, bend your right knee, walk your right foot to your left hand. Gently lower your right knee, set up for pigeon. Use your hands and just make yourself a little bit more comfortable. Wriggle your pelvis out. And then if you feel like you want to melt into it, walk the arms down, lower your chest, and find your breath. Inhale, exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and for 1. Using your hands, start to press them up and lift the chest. Curl your left toes into the floor and then pike the hips up. Step your right foot back and pedal out those legs. Push your chest into your thighs. Using one hand at a time, walk it into your toes. Open those legs a little bit wider than your hips, and then a very slight rotation out. Find your deep squat. Push your chest up. Holding here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hips to sky, hands towards the floor. Take one hand over the other. Press your hands through the upper thigh area and then bounce your upper body and press into that forward fold, making it that dynamic bounce for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hands come into the toes. Starting to roll up nice and slowly, keeping your knees a little soft on the way up. And a little shoulder roll at the top. Heel toe those legs in hip distance. A big step forward left side. Gently lower your right knee down to the mat. Adjust so that the left foot is underneath the knee or slightly forward. Hands come to the hips, and let's start to push the pelvis down, stretching out of this right hip crease and down along the right thigh. Then we pull the pelvis back, and then we sink back into it. And we move in and out, just like a little dance, forward and back. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Let's move in and out for another 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2, and 1. Now we angle the left knee and the left foot off to the left so that the inner thigh and the left leg is rotated out. Then we're going to angle ourselves as well. So as we press into it, we're kind of sending the weight a little bit more over to that diagonal line. So think about your knee tracking over your second and third toes, and your pelvis is still going down, but maybe you just push into it a little bit more. Inhale, exhale, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2, and 1. As you rise up, bring that foot back in parallel line, and then bend through, drop the hands, frame the foot. Inhale. On your exhale, start to walk back. Stretch the leg, maybe toes are pointed or lifted to the sky, and then come forward. And walk back. And come forward. And pull back to straighten the leg. Now you can start to lift the right leg and then lower the right knee. So check in. You can explore both of those. See which one's feeling right today, and even particularly this side. So let's continue to move in and out of this stretch for 8 more counts. And 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 more. And let's come forward and start to bring the left foot towards the right hand, setting up for pigeon. So we're gently going to lower this left knee down. Maybe we adjust the foot. We want to roll the pelvis through. Untuck the toes if you can. Use your hands and just adjust it as you need. Using your breath, settling in. If you feel like you can come a little bit lower and really drop into the stretch, start to walk the arms forward, crossing those arms into your genie fold, and even melting your head down. Feel into the areas that are holding your tension. Really melt them away with every exhale. We're going to continue to hold for 8, for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. When you're ready, starting to press the hands into the floor and lift up through the chest. We're going to take a seat on the left hip and bring the right leg in front. Take your left leg nice and long, and then bring your right foot so it sits outside the left knee. We want to pull the right knee towards the chest and begin to rotate to the right, using your right hand, planting it into the floor, and then pushing the chest up, crown of the head lifting. Start to rotate even further. Begin looking over your right shoulder. We hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly spiral back into the center. Let's take the right leg long, bringing the left foot outside the right knee or the right thigh. Left knee comes to the chest. We start to rotate to the left. Bring your left hand towards your spine, at the base of the spine. Push it into the floor and lift the chest up. Look around your left shoulder. Continue to twist. Lift the crown of the head. Look further. Hold. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly spiral back into the center. And then bend your knees. Lay yourself down onto your back. Let the arms move out to the side with your palms facing down. And then tick-tock the knees. Swing them, sway them, swoosh them from side to side, from right to left, or left to right. And even add in a little head roll, looking opposite to the folding of the knees. For 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Bringing your knees into your chest, embracing them, hugging them, squeezing them, and melting here to finish.